Hey y'all, welcome to the Style Chronicles. I'm going to do a really quick little book. I don't know whether to call it a vlog, because it's not a review. I'm not really reviewing books. I'm just kind of letting y'all in on what I'm reading. I've generally always got a easy read, a little bit more, progressive read, and then also a political read going on at any given time. I'm not going to delve into my political affiliations. The people around me know where I stand political-wise. I don't really wish to make that a part of my YouTube channel, but I do read a lot of political books. But don't read further into, what political books I choose, because I read lots of them. I read books that are, written by, I really do enjoy reading presidential biographies, as well as I will read anything about the Kennedys. I will read anything about LBJ. I will read anything about Clinton, anything about the Bushes, because they're Texans. I just love politics, and I love the story of presidents and other things that have to do with that realm. I have one of Sarah Palin's books. I can't make it through the darn book. It's really good. It gives a little insight into her life. I just can't seem to make it all the way through. I don't know why. I've picked it up several times and started reading it and put it down. Anyhow, so that, I just like to read anything kind of, in that area. So, first off, 2 books that I finished. The first one, Something Borrowed, by Emily Giffin. And, before I go any further, I am totally taking a page out of my friend Prissy and Pink's channel. She does these little, book vlog reviews, and they're great. And I just thought I would share, with you guys what I read too. She's usually always got an interesting stack of books that she picks up for relatively nothing. And I'm so envious of her because I don't have a half-price books near me. But yeah, she's really good at book vlogs and book reviews if you want to check her channel out. It's Prissy and Pink. So, like I said, just finished Something Borrowed by Emily Giffin. It was really good. I wanted to read it before I saw the movie. I tend to do that. I like to read books before I see the movies. I also finished Shepard's Wanted. This is the Pretty Little Liars series. It is, if you like to read, for purposes other than just easy reads, try not to read the Pretty Little Liars series. I read the first 2 and then got hooked. They are, centered around high school kids, so they're easy reads. They really are. And then my sister and I went halves on the entire collection of books. This is, I want to say, the 9th. It might only be the 8th. It's either the 8th or the 9th book in the series. She's got another one coming out, I believe November or December of this year, latest December. And apparently she's going to continue the series with more books scheduled for release next year. So, like I said, if you're into easy reads, these are cute. They're fun to read. I really did enjoy them. My sister and I, like I said, went halves. We found a collection on Amazon or eBay, and we just, put our money in and bought all of the series, with the exception of, I think, 8 and 9, because they weren't out yet. And then we buy these. Like, my sister bought this one when it came out in April or May, and so I will buy the one that comes out next, and then we'll probably go halves on the next sets. Okay, so those are 2 that I finished. Thank you. Vicks. Ooh, like the way that smells, huh?
I got free vacuum.
Okay, thank you, Sweet Pea. Okay, let's go over Eva's books. These are 2 of the books that I read to Miss Eva. This one, Richard Scarry's best storybook ever. 82 wonderful round-the-year stories and poems. Now this book, you can see, is a little bit worn. This book is from when I was little. My dad keeps everything, so he's got every toy, every book we ever read. But he gave us this so that I could continue to read it to my children. But it's just a collection of Richard Scarry books. You can find, I don't know if you can find this particular book with them all together, but you can find individual books with the individual stories, which are really cool. But that's a cool book. And then this one, which she has learned a lot from, David Gets in Trouble by David Shannon, which is a really cute book. Goes over, various reasons why David gets in trouble, and at the end he says he's sorry, and it's just kind of a good book to learn from. I like to read books, like that kind of have a little lesson for her. Okay, the next one, I bought this book after seeing Prissy and Pink talk about how she was reading it, and it's Phillippa Gregory's The Other Boleyn Girl. So far, I am I want to say on page 34. I just got it a day ago. So far, I'm really liking it. It's about King Henry VIII and his various affairs with two Boleyn sisters. So I like that. And then these are the two books that I've kind of been going back and forth between. The other Boleyn Girl I read pretty consistently for 2 days. These two are books that I have had for about a month or two, and I just kind of, read bits and pieces here. The first one is George Bush's Decision Points. It goes over, I'm not exactly how far, but from kind of the beginning of when he made the determination to run for presidency. It actually goes, into some of the history about how he met Laura Bush and, when they got married and all that. Some of his business ventures, as well as kind of, like I said, the beginning of his presidency. I haven't gotten past, I don't even think he's been elected yet. So it's just kind of, presidential history before he was elected. And then the next one I have been reading also, and I'm about halfway done, is Wicked by Gregory Macquire, which I really like. But like I said, I usually have 3 or 4 books in rotation at a time. And then another one that I thought I would share with you guys that I read and reference all the time are the Skinny Witch in the Kitchen books. The recipe book as well as this book. It just talks about kind of, the junk we eat and how to kind of help cut it out of our system. Like, I read an excerpt about cheese the other day and how it's got like casein, which is hormonal byproduct, and that is what is in breast milk that keeps babies, wanting breast milk, which is not bad. It's human nature working at its best to ensure survival of our children. But the interesting thing is that it is also found in milk and in extremely high concentrations in cheese, which is why, and I find myself doing this a lot, it's why when you have a piece of cheese, you feel like you have to eat another piece of cheese and then another piece of cheese. And I do that. I know my husband, if he opens like a pack of brie or camembert or any cheese really, he literally feels like he has to finish the entire thing. And my daughter is like that too. You are never just satisfied with one piece of cheese. And so it was interesting to read why, because it's got a hormone in it, and it might have been something that you learn like in elementary school or high school biology or whatever. I obviously wasn't paying attention, so I'm just relearning it or learning it for the first time, and it was just interesting to read, that is one of the reasons why we get so hooked to dairy products like, ice cream and stuff like that, just because it is hormonal kind of produce. So, just interesting. It's not saying you don't have to, not to eat that, it's bad for you. It's just saying this is why we do that. It's for chemical reasons. And when you know that, like after reading that, I didn't feel like I don't want to say I don't feel like I need cheese anymore, because that's not the truth. But like last night at dinner, my husband we had broccoli, and he always puts cheese on his broccoli. Most of the time I eat mine without cheese. But knowing that, I kind of thought, I don't need the cheese. I'm fine. I'll skip the cheese tonight. So anyway, you just make conscious decisions after things that you read. That's what I do. Anyway, like I said, those are the books that I am going through, books that I have read or finished, and the books that I am going through. Now, I have a lot more books that I have finished. I've got a bookshelf over there full of books that I have read. Yes, honey. So that is what I have going on right now. I hope y'all enjoyed that, and let me know what you have read that you have found interesting, so that I can check into that too. If they're political, like I said, I will read anything that revolves around politics. So it doesn't matter whether it's Republican, Independent, Democrat. I like to read, especially if it's about past presidents or anything to do with that realm. Anyhow, I will talk to you guys later. Bye bye.